I am so glad we have the independent media right now because nobody's telling the truth. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people aren't telling the truth, and it's wild. They will spin anything they can in order to destroy Nick Shirley, and it's dumb as fuck. Anyway, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, I saw this. So Nick Shirley made a video response.
So the other week, I sat down with Andrew Callahan in Channel 5 to do a sit-down, podcast-style interview. And when he goes and posts the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview. I said, well, that's weird, because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours.
He has the original video. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
really smart for him to record it himself. Very smart. He
There's every
recorded it
reason to.
himself.
And then I go and watch the interview, and I'm saying,
Yeah.
well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance, this clip right here.
Here we go.
What American city is prospering right now?
Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean,
Name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either. All right, so
that's the video that Andrew uploaded right there.
But this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
It's not. See, you can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing better.
So he basically agrees with Nick Shirley off camera. He cuts those moments out, and then he posts it in a way that makes Nick Shirley sound like a schizo. What are you doing, man?
Let's move over to the
Fucking
next
douchebag.
topic when we're talking about Somalians. This is what Andrew puts in the interview. 89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it. And this is what he just, for some reason, decided not to put in the interview.
89% of those charged in connection with major.
Identified as Somali Americans.
Well, looks like we've got to redo there.
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview.
Looks like there's a problem.
Man, agrees with him off camera, cuts it out, and then makes Nick Shirley look like a schizo.
Where he literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool, and I wouldn't say that's like very
We'll give you a pass, bro.
but I promise you guys, I ever do an interview with anyone, you're gonna get the full product.
So the full interview, yeah, here it is. Here's the full video, right? Nick Shirley and Channel 5 full interview. Like, did Andrew engage in deceptive editing that made people come to a conclusion that was not completely in line with what really happened? Yeah, I think that he did do that. It's disgraceful to do that. And I think that it's unbecoming of him. I think that after, because Andrew got exposed for being kind of like a weird sex pest, kind of getting canceled, and he took a break from the internet. He took total accountability from it. And I think that ever since Andrew's come back from kind of getting canceled that way, I think Andrew has leaned way farther on one side of the political spectrum. Before that, I think that he gave a lot of things a very fair shake. And now he's never going to present, I don't think, a right-wing viewpoint in a positive or an endearing manner. He's tried to avoid getting canceled again, basically, and try to maintain those viewers by effectively playing on their side. I think that's what's happened.
Now here's a video that Andrew put out in response to Nick Shirley's video. Let's see how much he tries to cope.
All right, so normally and historically, my policy for whenever somebody's saying some factually inaccurate stuff about me online is to turn the other cheek, keep my head down, and get back to grinding. But in this case, with Mr. Nick Shirley, who is now falsely accusing me of conducting an unfairly edited interview, I think I'm going to pick option 2 and let people know what went down.
You did chop it up and make a very disingenuous video, at least from the couple clips we saw. I think those clips kind of imply something. Just saying.
Journalistic integrity is something that I kind of take a little bit seriously, and I can see a future wherein access is limited to prominent people, especially conservatives, if I don't dispel this false narrative immediately in its entirety right the heck now. So to do this right, I'll have to show you a couple of things, including text messages between him and I, and actual footage of the working Premiere sequence that I used to edit the interview, so you can see what was cut and why. So let's begin with an editing lesson. So when we're dealing with a long-form interview of somebody who talks very slowly and circles back to repetitive talking points, one of the first things that we do in post-production is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences, or fixable verbal stammers to slow down the conversation and risk boring the viewer. So in this raw interview with Nick, which had a total runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, we had to cut nearly half an hour of dead air to make it listenable. Many people like to choose their words carefully, so I get it, but there was a couple points in the interview that even in person we had to have Nick repeat himself because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
It's been an interesting few days,
Normal?
past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? Because you kind of stuttered.
Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, wait, are there going to be cuts in this, or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Can I just mention that this guy, Nick Shirley, he's like, what, 21, 23 years old? He's more of an on-the-scenes kind of, YouTuber. He doesn't do this whole production shit, I can imagine he's nervous as fuck. So to expect some stutters, I feel like that's normal. I don't think, it really is that big a deal. Cut out the dead air, but why make him repeat himself multiple times? I feel like he's going to stutter more, because now there's more pressure. He's just like, oh shit, am I doing this wrong? You're going to give that motherfucker a complex.
Okay, yeah. So, my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here. I'm going to show you the raw footage, and we'll see how, with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out. How does that make you feel, gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel, gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So in that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. No joke. Probably 30 times, as you can see here on the timeline, and it was never to take him out of context, but to help him get his point across. We do this for every good faith interview or 5 casts we've conducted so far, from Hunter Biden, which had a raw runtime of 5 hours before being cut to 324, to Hunter Kozak, to Alex Jones, to Hamilton Morris, Janet DeSanti, to pretty much everybody we've ever talked to.
Exactly. 100% not. Is that and there's this conflation that people have. I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the wet.
Dude sounds just like his dad. That's wild. Hunter Biden. I feel like it's genetic, maybe.
Best wing of the White House.
We aren't live streamers or live podcasters, and we like to package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value, so that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the Nick Shirley interview that weren't dead air related were conversation beats that I personally found either boring, repetitive, or so off topic to the point that they derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background. We cut probably 25 minutes of unproductive, redundant banter about Portland, Mormonism, gay marriage, his new crypto coin. I heard you also made a coin of some kind?
I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content, and it is a coin. You can then monetize your content, just similar to how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America, and 6 whole, nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on unchallenged.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somalian population. 89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somalian population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are illegal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
I don't. The fact that he has to say it over and over again means you are trying to get a different answer out of him, and he's standing on business. Bad faith, as you said it wouldn't be.
Since we ended up including an extensive dialogue about that stat around the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the need to torture all of you guys with 5 other versions of that conversation.
89% of the population, or 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
And just so we can put that on screen to verify, do you know where that data is from?
Yes, you can put it up on screen. It's public.
And if you watch that raw cut, the 2-hour cut, which I made clear in text with Nick that I was willing to share with him in 4K when I got back from Greenland, you will see exactly what I mean. This is not a Sacha Baron Cohen style ambush edit or a Jim Jeffries Avi Yemeni situation where I primed him, by saying crazy shit to get his guard down and then Shanghai him with post-production. I was trying to help Nick Shirley, which it seems up until yesterday he really appreciated. So after the interview came out about a week ago, he texted me right after saying, the backdrop of this interview is hilarious. It was filmed in his uncle's upscale game room in Farmington, Utah, in front of several taxidermied bears that were presumably killed by the Shirley family. He goes on to say, fun watching the reaction from both sides. Appreciate you coming out. Wish you the best in all you do, bro. To which I replied, kindly. But then the Clippers started doing the thing that they do Hunter Biden, finding the most outrageous or dumb soundbite in the entire piece and memeing it into oblivion while missing the entire point of the dialogue, which was to try to find common ground on issues like affordability and the collapse of the mainstream media. I mean, I fundamentally hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope we all have the best interest in society and for our people, because
yeah,
the affordability is insane and people can't buy houses. And if we're talking about creating change, we need to let innovation prosper inside the United States.
Yeah.
And we're not seeing innovation. In fact, we're seeing fraudsters take our money.
If you guys saw, the clip that did the most rounds is when Nick tried and failed to pronounce the word benevolent. Who do you think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Jesus
Trump?
Christ.
Our president?
Because he never said it right and said benevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer, so we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word. I mean, he is wearing a hoodie that is making fun of immigrants for their spelling errors, but benevolent has more syllables than learning, so I get it. But the comments on this clip were brutal, actually genuinely mean, and it couldn't have felt good from his perspective to read these things.
He's a
We're
kid,
talking
man.
tens of thousands of people declaring this guy is retarded,
He's not.
which he's not. But there are some moments in the interview that even with dead air trimmed for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when blaming immigrants for rising rent prices.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
Suggesting that Muslim Americans keep multiple wives in private while dismissing the association with his own religion, Mormonism, and polygamy as just a harmful stereotype. As far as the wives go,
Dude.
that's not a thing in Utah.
It's not a thing in Utah.
It's a negative stereotype.
Negative stereotype.
And also confronting me about staying silent on the death of Charlie Kirk, while admitting that he consciously chose to not watch the video that I made in the immediate aftermath of it.
And so I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
And I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.
Well, you should watch the video because I say some stuff in it.
Okay, cool.
None of these moments were a very good look for Nick, but I did not engineer them that way. And if I was a betting man, I would suggest that much of the hostility displayed toward him in the comments is because his reporting, which was signal boosted by Trump and his cronies, has been a driving factor in ISIS's decision to escalate their presence in Minneapolis. Kidnapping kids from local high schools, terrorizing U.S. citizens in their own communities, shooting people on the streets, and hiding behind masks like the goddamn cowards they are. However, that's just my personal opinion. I don't like ICE. I don't like Trump, which is something that I made clear to Nick in the interview.
What do you think about Trump?
I don't like him. There was no deception anywhere. But sometimes, and I'm not sure what the word is for this in the journalism field, The person that you interview views your fans as an extension of you. So if your fans are dicks to them, they kind of feel like that's you shading them. And that's definitely what happened. Right after the benevolent clip went micro-viral, Nick began to send texts to me that alluded to the footage being manipulated, writing, "Greenland will be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have some contacts there. Just curious though, why didn't you post a full 2+ hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour of the interview?"
Yep.
Notice the word selected. Nick suggests that I cherry-picked his worst moments, which is concerning because we consciously did the opposite. But as you can see from these texts, I explained our entire editing process to him, as I did to all of you, and as I mentioned, even offered to send him all of the raw video files when I get home from Greenland, which I'm doing now, and gave him full permission to clip any and all moments of the piece for his own socials. Fast forward to 2 days later. I wake up in Nuuk, Greenland to see that Nick has posted a video filmed on a side camera, captioned something like, "In case you guys want to know how the interview really went, here's this. Nick's bullshit crybaby video here points to 2 pieces of damning evidence. Exhibit A. Nick grills me here about Democrat cities being catastrophic failures after failing to understand that I am not a supporter of the Democrat Party. I am from Seattle, a failed blue city, and then asks me to name thriving blue cities.
So
I named Austin, Nashville, El Paso, and then while smirking, I mentioned Denver because as shown in Nick's angle, I didn't actually know if Denver was doing well because I don't spend much time in Colorado."
Like, when have you seen an American city? What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name
I
another
wonder
one.
why.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. I think
Why you think?
it's doing better. New bars and restaurants have opened, but I can probably think of some better examples.
Like what?
Nashville's doing good. Austin's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
A city inside of a blue state that is prospering.
Crickets.
Denver.
Nope.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
Because it's not.
I'm
See, you can't even answer the question, dude.
I don't.
It's
No.
not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But in post-production, I did some research and found out that my intuition was correct. Denver is currently experiencing a decline in violence and property crime, a large influx in population, job growth in the aerospace, tech, and healthcare sectors, and a number of other great things. So I chose to trim a brief section after I mentioned Denver that indicates a bit of self-doubt, given that I ended up being correct. I also trimmed a soundbite where I said that many Democrat cities are run poorly because it was redundant. After our conversation about Denver, I then launched into a tirade about how I am not a Democrat, don't believe in the capacity of the two-party system to enact meaningful change, believe that Gavin Newsom has misappropriated California's tax revenue through NGOs, reinforce my belief in voting on the local level, and then give Nick the benefit of the doubt and say that I hope he's right about Trump and the GOP's ability to mitigate the affordability crisis that's made many places like my hometown, Seattle, unlivable for those who grew up there. So I support voting on a local level for sure. I also suggest if you're watching this and you want to see videos that I've made about dysfunctional blue cities, watch San Francisco streets, Albuquerque streets, Las Vegas tunnels, and Philly streets. So the second clip that Nick posted really makes my blood boil because it is so disingenuous. As I mentioned 6 or 7 times in this interview, Nick references the stat that 89% of fraud in Minnesota is committed by Somalis. We aired the version where we asked him to show us the data on his phone, which he found using Google search results powered by ChatGPT. So in the video he posted, you can see me look in the camera after he shows it to me and saying something like, "All right, damn, I guess he's right then. Let's put that on screen."
Here, right here, the figure 89% does not represent the total percentage of all fraud in Minnesota. Instead, it refers to the percentage of individuals charged in connection with specific high-profile federal fraud cases.
Because
Millions.
89% of those charged in connection with major. Wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well, looks like we do. It looks like
I'm interested to see.
Well, and also, he says, like he tried to discredit ChatGPT, and I know it makes mistakes, but at the end of the day, it does pull from databases. And he just basically said it was from a federal database. So what the fuck is the issue? Like, really, what is the actual issue? I don't see the problem with that.
What you put in this interview, because
looks like there is a problem with fraud. He is kind of right. However, the stat refers specifically to the already litigated Feeding Our Future case, which resulted in over 60 fraud convictions in Minnesota. The ringleader of the nonprofit behind the scam, Amy Bach, is white, but it is true that 89% of convicted defendants in that case were Somali. And
Okay.
that's what makes me so pissed about this particular piece of evidence that Nick presents. The exact thing that he has shown me on his phone in the video is what I put on screen on the final cut. I did exactly what I said I would. He frames my decision to put that on screen as some kind of like liberal ball busting fact check, but it's actually supplemental context for something he's literally fucking shown me, which is why it pisses me off. So that's all I have to say. I'm just in a phase in my life where I've been doing this for so long. I care about this so much that I don't want to play these kind of games, especially with people who can't take an L and want to put my credibility on the line by spinning things in a way that benefits their reputation.
He literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent of him to do.
I think my policy moving forward, especially when working with people who are filming their own versions of things and lack the integrity to be honest with their fan base, is to either go live during every interview
Yeah.
or upload the full raw files on Patreon the moment
Yeah.
the final cut hits YouTube, so there's no room.
No, not Patreon. Not Patreon. Not through a fucking paywall. Drop the whole thing. Drop the whole fucking thing. If he stutters and makes himself look stupid or whatever, or not smart as you said, then what? That's on him. That's on him. Post the whole thing. That's how you can prove that you're 100% good faith. Let him stand on his own business. Don't edit shit. And then you won't have this problem, bro. And look, I agree with you on some of your points, but dude, you kind of kicked yourself in the ass saying that he took an L. Well, what, because he can't pronounce a fucking word? Big fucking deal. Who else was out there doing this shit and trying to actually figure out what this fucking fraud was? Not many people. He blew this case wide open. He deserves a giant fucking thank you from all of Americans.
For these kinds of shenanigans, because it's exhausting, and I've got real investigations and real documentaries in the field, in the works, that I need to prioritize over these millennials antics. 2026, keep my fucking name out your mouth. 5.
Andrew. Yeah, who cares?